I have an example annotated bibliography that I'm going to go over. I keep forgetting to shut my door. I'm going to shut my door. All right, I have an example annotated bibliography that I want to go over. So I'm going to jump right into it. Make sure that our Word document is open. It's a document example and bib. There we go. So let me share my screen. This is an example annotated bibliography from last semester. So here we have the top here is so here we have name, class, my name, and then the date. So this is from last semester. And then we have annotated bibliography and then a word next to it, right? Annotated bibliography. And then we want to have some kind of extra title that goes with it. Now, I'm not going to count off if you don't, but I do encourage students to, be a little bit creative with what they worked on. Now, this student went a slightly bit different direction with the questions that we asked in the proposal. She just wrote about her childhood and incorporated pretty much all the answers in showing her childhood. What? No, it's 12, November. Anyway, that drives me crazy. So she just wrote, but here we have an example proposal, and this is a full page. About, I don't know. Anyway. So here's a full page proposal, right? And that is where we're going to go over that here in just a moment. And that is where you take those three questions and those three question groups and you answer those in a paragraph form, right? And then after that, we have our sources and they are in alphabetical order. So here we have Brimer, which is a B, and then health, which is an H, and L, Levine, Fiona, right? And we have it. I'm going to show you how to indent all these too. So here we have all these again, these sources. Here's her commercial down here, the commercial that she's using that we're going to get into. But that is what an annotated bibliography looks like. So it is just the proposal paragraph that we'll be writing next week. And then we have all of our sources and our sources summarized, right? Now I want to make sure that we know that our music needs to be not cited from YouTube, but it needs to be cited to where your reader can find it, like on Apple Music. Like this person is Apple Music. It could be Amazon Music is what I use a lot to buy my music and whatnot, right? So we want to have, we have the artist, then we have the name of the song, we have the name of the album. This is the recording studio or the what's it called, the producer, like the producer, and then the date that it was released, and then where we can find it, right? So I'll make sure that I have that uploaded. And then here's here is a now for the song, we can just talk about how we relate to that song. We don't ever want to look up the meaning to a song, but for the song, we want to talk about how do we relate to that song. And then we come down here and we have the health, 3 ways getting outside. Nature improves your health. And so this is from a .edu. So we know it's educational. So we know so this is her source, I believe, that goes along with her podcast, right? That's her source that goes along with her podcast. And then we have learning cooking skills at different ages. That's her podcast right there. And then we have, we come down, here we have the effective time parents spend with children on children's well-being. So this goes along with her, this is the source that goes along with her commercial that we're going to start using in the next essay. And then we have, this might be her podcast. Anyway, so here's all her different sources that she used for the rest of the semester. Now, what some students are doing that I did not want you to do is I did not want you to find new sources that go along with your annotated bibliography. You don't have to have any sources. This is all about you, right? So the sources that you are citing are the same exact sources from your source quizzes. That's what I've said. The sources that go in your annotated bibliography all come from your source quizzes. So your commercial that you're going to use, that goes in your annotated bibliography. The source, the identity source that goes with the commercial that helps you see a bigger idea in your commercial, that goes in your annotated bibliography. So the annotated bibliography, all these sources are the sources that we are going to use throughout the rest of the semester. The idea here is that we have a proposal paragraph that's all about us. And here's all the sources that are all about us. right? The music that's about me, that helps me understand myself, the podcast that helps me understand myself, the academic source that goes with the podcast that helps me understand myself, a commercial where I am the target audience, right? So it's a proposal paragraph all about me, and then sources that are also help me understand myself, right? So you don't find different sources and cite and summarize different sources for the proposal. They are the sources from your quizzes. They are the sources that we've been looking at for weeks, right? They go into your annotated bibliography. So make sure that you're putting the correct sources in your annotated bibliography. But that's what that looks like. So let's look at the prompt. I'm pretty sure the prompt is down here also. Yes, it is. So I'm going to stop sharing and share the prompt. There it is. So here's your prompt, in that middle page of the prompt, and it just says proposal prompt also, where I just made it all by itself. But we have these different groups. So we have, along with the annotations, these questions are meant to help students understand their identity in academia. So after students have summarized sources that help them understand their academic identities for the upcoming assignments, they will answer one question per group. So those are those straight from those quizzes, right? So you can read that. So group one, background. So you answer one of these questions or get a general idea of what your background looks like. That's what my student did on this example. She just got a general idea and said, well, that was my background, was having a parents who had to deal with drug abuse and then recover from drug abuse to be a part of my education again. So she did a great job talking about that. She talked about her self-acceptance and about how she had to accept herself through everything that was going on. She talked about where she came from, her demographic. And so, but you can just choose one question per group. And we want to write a paragraph looking at one question per group. Now, we don't want to answer the questions in the paragraph in a form of answering a question. We don't want to say something like, why must students feel welcome? Well, this is why. We just want to go straight into it. I feel welcome in my classroom when right? So you can use I, or you can use third person students if you want to. I'd rather you just use I. I'd rather you talk about yourself, because this is about you. And this is about what we don't want to use second person, you, your, yourself, but you want to use I, me, and my. So self-acceptance. I accept myself when I started going to college because, or maybe I didn't accept myself very well and had to learn who I was in college because, right? And then demographic is where we're from. So again, she talked about her parents and her parents' battle and where she's from and whatnot, did a great job. She just took off these three ideas and just grasped it into one paragraph, which is exactly what I want students to do, because that's critical application. So I want to show that you can critically apply these ideas to form one paragraph and not three different paragraphs. Three different paragraphs does not show critical application, but your ability to take these three ideas and make one paragraph shows that critical application. We'll work on a thesis statement also at the beginning. I don't think the example has a thesis. I'll make sure I put a thesis. I'll just put a thesis on there for her. That's not it. I'll make sure I put a thesis on there for her before we go into, I mean, her story does it really well, but I'll make sure I put a thesis on there for her just to make sure that we have that thesis statement. There we go. Nope. There we go. Right. So here's some instructions. Use specific samples from at least three annotations or sources. One example must be from the academic source that examined your identity formation. Discover the relevancy of the proposal answer. Incorporate a target audience. That we want to stray from you, your, yourself. So we're going to talk about I, me, my. So it must be a full page, just full page, double spaced. And create a distinctive title, like Annotated Bibliography, Importance of Acceptance. All right, so that is what we are working on all next week, or Monday and Wednesday. And then by Friday, of course, this is an online class, but by the end of next week, by Thursday or so, I treat it like a Tuesday, Thursday class because that's when I have office hours. I let my first class or my last class out a little early once I noticed they were keeping up and doing okay to be able to make this video now, so we didn't have to wait till Tuesday. But the beginning of next week, we're going to be working on the annotated bibliography and getting that in. And then by Thursday or so, we're going to start looking at some ideas for the essay. All right, now you already have your sources for the essay, so that's great. Your sources should be in your annotated bibliography. And if they're not, that's okay. You can still use Monday and Wednesday to find the sources, summarize those sources. But this is the proposal and an example annotated bibliography. I'll upload both of these I'll upload both of these to Brightspace and let me know if you have any questions, but I think we're doing pretty decently. I got your quiz grades in just by looking at your academic source. I got a little bit behind on grading the quizzes from all the weather, so I just went straight to, are we finding a source that helps you understand your commercial? And as soon as I know that you're finding a decent source to help you look deeper into your commercial, I just checked off that you got the points for your quizzes because that's what they were for. They were to help you find your sources. So once I realized that they were helping you find those sources, checked them off, gave you your grade. And so focus on that identity source for your essay. All right, I think we're doing really well. I think we've all found our sources that we're going to use. Now we just need to put them in the annotated bibliography. So I'm going to, again, put this example annotated bibliography from last semester. I think I just might keep it the way it is. It's fine the way that it is with her story. And keep this, I'll upload this example annotated bibliography, and the prompt is already on there. Now let me know if you have any questions, but I think we're doing okay. So beginning of next week, we can write the proposal, and then by the end of next week, we'll jump into the essay. All right, y'all take care.